Hello everyone, welcome back to the PWC YouTube channel. I'm Gil, and today I will be bringing the power rankings for the Showdown divisions. So let's just get on with it. Starting off, we have Tranel, coin. Alright, tails. Can we get a double tails? Alright, heads. Not that it matters, but funny. Alright, A tier for Tranel. Let me this in here. Haven City Skitty. Okay. So this team, Yamega, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Weavile, Skeledirge, Starmie, Dragalge, Rabombi, Hisuian Decadui, Orform, Knucklestack, and Ampharos. So immediately this team is already pretty good because you have Little Nachi. Ursaluna Bloodmoon also kind of an insane mon. It just destroys like fatter teams. Because it just clicks Calm Mind, it clicks Moonlight, and like if you're not hyper offense, I mean, I think this bond might just curb stomp like the couple teams. Weavile, this is National Dex, it has knockoff, it has triple axe, so it has everything it needs. Dirge, it's Skeledirge, it's annoying. Starmie is a decent mon, and like the bottom half is also pretty decent. Dragalge, I'm a big fan of. Rabombi, uh, I don't know if this team is hyper offensive enough for webs, but it's there. Hisuian Decadui is a pretty decent mon, or form, pretty decent mon, has rocks, has spikes, has body iron defense, body press if it wants. Knuckle stack is Minecraft. And for us, I mean, you could do worse for an electric, I suppose. The signature Yon Mega, I mean, yeah, it's a decent. It's a good team. Ursaluna and Weavile are really fucking scary, so pretty solid. Next up, we have the Vancouver Hitenas, coached by Bread, the man, the myth, the legend. We get heads. I tried. All right. Let's put this team in. So Diancie, Garchomp, Zerora, Gengar, Empoleon. I guess a Buzzwole. Zarude, Talonflame, Maractus, Hatena, not Hatena, Hatrem, right? Hatrem. Why did I say Hatena? And Porygon? So, I mean, what is this? This is fucking absurd. So, right, so first of all, the speed tiers here are actually really good. You have Zerora, Talonflame, Gengar, Zarude, Garchomp. But then there's a huge drop off between Garchomp and Buzzwole. I would like a base like 90 Mon here, but not the end of the world. Has a lot of hazard potential. There's Garchomp and Diancie get rocks and spikes, and Polion gets rocks. Even Baractus gets spikes if you ever bring that to a game, because I mean, what the fuck? Um, Gengar gets T spikes if you want. In terms of removal, you do have a uh do have two pretty solid defoggers between Talonflame and Empoleon. Although, considering how much hazard stacking you're gonna be doing, I would like a spinner here for sure, because you don't want to be removing your own rocks and spikes. Um, Steam does have some pretty good momentum. If you want to teleport, I mean Porygon has teleport. That's pretty based. But you do have Zorora, you do have two U-turners. Empoleon has Flip Turn. Flip Turn plus Roost on Empoleon is pretty nutty, all things considered. Even Niantic has Baton Pass for momentum if you want, because predicting is for losers and old gen players. Um, it's a pretty solid team. The top 8 ones are insane. Like, let's just make that one abundantly clear. Garchomp, Zorora, Gengar, disgusting levels of offense. Zarude can be offensive, can be bulky. I mean, it has a solid. You can definitely make Zarude like a bulky mon if you want. Buzzwole also can be offensive. You can click bulk up, you could be Fizz Def, you could Scarf it, Choice Band, whatever. Diancie with Terra, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's really nice because you get rid of the useless rock type. You can make it pure fairy. You can make it a different type if you want. Just all in all, really, I mean, it doesn't matter that the bottom three mons are all shit. Like, who cares if you have a Maractus when this is the rest of your team? All right, Hattrem, you can bring Hattrem to a game because it has magic bounce. You can bring this to one game probably. I mean, Porygon, who cares? I mean, this is an RBYOU, unfortunately, so it doesn't actually accomplish anything. But does it need to accomplish something with this team? Not really. Um, yeah, this team is actually pretty good. Is it S tier? It's probably S tier. Maybe low S tier, but it does look pretty silly. So next up we have our defending champion, Girahim, coach of the Power Snakes. Coin time. Heads? Please don't get double heads. Thank you. I want the spin wheel. Nothing makes me happier than spinning wheels. Alright. C tier. I just realized I'm not screen sharing. 1 second. That would probably be smart. Okay, there we go. The people on Discord can see this now. Okay. C tier for Girahim. Alright, let's look at this team. The Dunsparce, Goldango, Hydreigon, Infernape, Milotic, Galarian Weezing, Swallow, Rotomo, Gligar, Basculin, and Chimecho. So, this team is actually pretty bad. The only reason it's not F tier is because the Chimecho pick is unfathomably based. The Dunsparce says a Terra Captain, pretty sus. Goldango, terrible mon. I mean, obviously, you think, oh, but it stops defog, it stops spin. Yeah, but who cares? You just run 6 boots and hazards aren't a thing anyway. Hydreigon, I mean, it's decent mon, I guess. It can do things. Infernape did get some buffs, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's still an Infernape. It's just so frail. And, like, the stats aren't quite high enough. It's definitely been powercraft a lot. It's struggling to keep up in DPP, much less in National Dex Gen 9. Melodic, I mean, it's very cringe. Badmon, Galarian Weezing, I mean, look this fucking Doug Dimmadome looking ass. Swallow, I mean, click specs Boom Burst sometimes. Ronomo is whatever. Gligar is fine. Basculin is not a real Pokemon. It's definitely a C tier level draft. Next up, we have the best team name, Vigontot Cricketot, coached by Prof. I don't want other things. Coin. Cool. Come on, get double tails. Alright. No double tails. Alright, but we do roll 8 here for good old Professor Pokemon. So, this team. Tyrantrum, Landorusterian, Jirachi, Rotomosh, Tangrowth, Slitherwing, Porygon 2, Chandelure, Alolan Persian, Grubbin, and Jigglypuff. So Tyrantrum as a Terra Captain can be really scary. You can defensively Terra to set up Dragon Dance. You can offensive Terra to go like Scarf or Choice Band Head Smash. It gets Rock Head, I'm pretty sure. So you can absolutely do that. Landorusterian is Landorusterian. Nothing more needs to be said. Jirachi, it's pretty annoying mon. You can Scarf Iron Head. You can Body Slam with 60% paralysis chance. You can run like bulky wish sets, rocks. It has U-turn for momentum. Um, Rotom Wash, always a pretty solid mon. I mean, it can do things. It can be bulky. It can be Scarf. Tangrowth, it's fucking fat. Has Regenerator. Slither Wing is a cool mon. You can choice band first impression. You have U-turn as well. Bug fighting always a really scary offensive dual stab. Obviously, you do have to be careful of flying moves, but I mean, you have a Jirachi, you have a Lando T. Who cares about flying moves? I mean, okay, Lando T doesn't really appreciate Hurricane, but that move has 70 accuracy. Nobody cares. Porygon 2, it's a Porygon 2. It's fat, but you're not gonna get three freezes in one game, because who do you think you are? Chandelure. Chandelure can be pretty scary sometimes, depending on the matchup. It's a good great Scarfer. You can run Calm Mind on it. Alolan Persian, it's a fine, what's it called? It's a fine utility mon. It has Parting Shot, has Fur Coat. Grubbin and Jigglypuff aren't real Pokemon, but pretty solid team. Solidly A tier. Next up, we have the Dartrix champion, Leonard's coach of the Ferrari Rapidash. Wait, why is there a Sharpedo here? The fuck? Whatever. Heads. Can we get a tails? No tails. Okay. So, Charizard. This is a Sun team. Okay, Walking Wake. What the fuck is this guy? Monkey Dory. Not a real Pokemon. Okay. Sandy Shocks. Oh, Shocks, Cresselia, Manitan, Torkoal, Hatterene, Hitmontop, Shiftry, and Prinplup. His man's drafting Prinplup in national decks. That's crazy. So, it's a Sun team, right? It does what a Sun team you'd expect a Sun team to do. There's a Solar Power Charizard, there's a Darmanitan, there's a Hatterene to bounce rocks, there's a Walking Wake, there's even a Shiftry with Chlorophyll. I mean, this is about as basic as Sun gets. There's even Cresselia because VG you gotta rep VGC Sun team somehow. Trick Room Torkoal. But I mean, that's a lot of fire types to be fair. You have the triple fires. Obviously, Charizard can Terra out of the rock weakness, and Boots does exist that you're gonna run on Zard and Torkoal. I mean, Zard wants to run specs on some teams though, so you don't have the Hatterene. In terms of spin, you do have Hitmontop as well as Torkoal. You also have three defoggers, but one of them is Prinplup, so and the other is Zard. And once they click specs, Terra Fire, Solar Power, Overheat, and Sun. Um, and then Shift is the third defogger, which I mean, I feel like your Chlorophyll mon and your Solar Power mon are your defoggers. That's kind of rough, right? I mean, Torkoal's fine as a spinner, because what else is Torkoal gonna really do, realistically? And then obviously, I feel like you're gonna have to play very aggressively with Hatterene to keep rocks off. And if your opponent can see it coming, then you could be in a pretty bad spot just in general. Walking Wake is Walking Wake. You run specs with the speed boost, and you just click buttons. It has flip turn and knockoff now for no fucking reason. Monkey Dory, I mean, I don't really know what it does. Oh wait, it's the fucking special attacker. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent one for sure. Sandy Shocks provides nice hazard support, has rocks, has spikes. You can run the dual screens on it. I feel like with this kind of team, I feel like it could be more of a support mon, right? When you have Wake, Specs Charizard, right? Even Torkoal if you want to run offensive on it. Darmanitan and Sun, pretty nutso, but again, the rocks weakness, the Flare Blitz recoil, it's it's a Sun team, right? It's hard to make a Sun team like crazy, but as far as Sun teams go, this is pretty solid. But again, Sun teams aren't exactly like the greatest archetypes you can build. So I'm gonna put this. Be Terra Charizard. I think it does have a lot of potential. Uh, I just don't really believe in Sun that much. I think if there was another Paradox one, I mean, there's Sandy Shocks, right? Sandy Shocks is photosynthesis, but uh, I feel like it's very all or nothing. I think it's low end of A tier. Next up, we have the Flanders Flygons, coached by Ronan Sting. Alright, tails, and alright, double tails. Not that that means anything, but it's there. Oh, is it S tier? Wait, that's actually so close. Alright, by pixels, it's S tier. Also, I put this team name wrong. I need to fix it. 1 second. Okay, done. So this team, Droppa, instant S tier. King Gambit, with knockoff and national decks? My god. Glimmora, Ogerpon, Kilowattrel, Florges, Jellicent, Mudsdale, Durant, Hitmonlee, and Delphox. So, first of all, Droppa is based. Second of all, you have Ogerpon. I don't need to say anymore. That's just instant S plus tier. Um, I feel like Delphox actually on a serious note, I feel like I like Delphox more as a Terra Captain than Drampa here. Like, no disrespect to Drampa, but Delphox is just so good with Terra. Um, anyway, Ogerpon is S. It makes every team S tier. Let's be real. Next, we have the Chicago Chandelures, coached by Infinite, not a Johto League player, as much as you would like to believe. All right, heads. Don't flip heads again. I want wheel. Wheel. Oh, that's really close again. Oh, it's B tier. Okay. That's really close again. That's what you like to see. So, Chicago Chandelures. We have Jolteon, Tornado Styrian, Iron Moth, Hisuian Samurott, Cobalion, Mesprit, Flygon, Whimsicott, Golurk, Avalugg, and Ferroseed. So, Jolteon as a Terra Captain is pretty good. Tornado Styrian, I mean, it's a good mon 80% of the time, because Bleak Wind Storm. And I mean, if you run Hurricane, and I don't know what to tell you, like stop it, get some help. Iron Moth is a solid mod. I had it last season, and it was pretty good. And Hizumi Samurott as well. I mean, it just clicks Ceaseless Edge. I mean, that's all it really needs to do. Kamalian, I'm not a fan of because it's neutral to Fairy, and when your Steel is neutral to Fairy, that's pretty bad. Like I think Cobalion just sucks. Like it clicks rocks, it clicks Volt Switch. That's pretty much it. Um, that's good Fizz Death, but uh, don't like it. It takes so much from Moonblast. Mesprit, it's, it's a Mon, right? It has rocks, it has U-turn, it has like other stuff. It can try to sweep. Lygon's a decent Mon as well. I mean, between like CB first impression, you have U-turn, you can run bulky sets with like Roost, Defog. Whimsicott, not the biggest fan of Whimsicott, but it's there. Golurk, it has Poltergeist, right? It can do something sometimes. Avalugg, I think it's a very, I think Avalugg is a high skill mon, and I know and Infinite has the skill to use it. I'm sure of it, but on this team, I feel like you're missing. I feel like you could use more special bulk on this team for sure. Like, you have the Avala, you have the Cobalion. Like those mons are pretty physically bulky, but on the special side, not so much. And Pharaoh Seed, I mean, it's a Pharaoh Seed, right? It's a decent mon. It can click hazards. but it's so passive, right? It just gets taunted. Uh, right, it's not like a Ferrothorn where like Gyro Ball's doing like meaningful damage or Power Whip. Right, Ferroseed pretty passive, but it's a fine team. It's pretty solidly high in the B tier. Next up, we have Bad Apple, coached by Hollow815. Tails, alright, we get the flip. We get the flip the wheel. Yes, that's how this works. Double tails. Unlucky, man. But the wheel has spoken. This team is A tier. Um, it would be S tier if it was the multi-language cover of Bad Apple. Um, so we have Rotom Fan, Dragapult, Melmetal, Urshifu Rapid, Screamtail, Lycanroc Dust, Crobat, Gastrodon, Thwackey, Dunsparce, and Leavanny. So Rotom Fan as the Terramon. I mean, it's a Rotom, right? It's an electric type that can click Terra Ice. It has Levitate, so we can Terra Electric. You can even Terra Flying because Air Balloon, right? I mean, you have to. Polt. We'd Polt this Polt, right? Melmetal. I mean, I'm not as high on Melmetal as some other people are, right? I mean, I think it's pretty hard to use, especially with, double iron into Rocky Helmet moment. Urshifu Rapid, another Rocky Helmet foddermon, right? This team is really weak to Rocky Helmet. You really need to play around that really well. Um, are there enough knock users in this team to knock off the helmets? It doesn't look like it. I think Thwackey has knockoff. Leavanny might have knockoff, but I think that's it. Screamtail is a decent support bond. Lycanroc Dusk, it can do things, right? It can Source Dance, Accelerock. It's a decent mon. Crobat, nice utility mon, but I do prefer grounded poison types. Gastrodon is Gastrodon, right? It'll always be solid. It has water immunity, has rock spikes. Quack's still better. It has T spikes and it's Quag. Thwackey, I don't know what grassy terrain really enables here. I mean, it's passive recovery from Melmetal. That's about it. Like, there's no like unburdened stuff. I feel like Thwackey's a mod you draft for like an unburdened mon. But like if you pick one up like late-ish, but it's there. Dunsparce, I mean, it can do stuff, but I don't know about national decks. I think the power level's too high for it to do anything. It's a bit too cute. Although it still has Glare, it still has Surrey Grace Body Slam, so maybe it can be annoying. Leavanny. Leavanny on this team, I think the webs actually fit pretty nicely. We have the Rotom, pretty like mid-speed mon, or Shifu as well. Those two really like webs. Lycanroc Dust can run Adamant way more often because of webs. I think the webs they could fit better, but I think they fit nicely on this team actually. Um, Next up, we have the Slurpy Sluggers coached by Jam, the cooler Jam. Tails, unlucky. Guess we're flipping the wheel again. And double tails, that's tough. Another A tier. Alright. At what point do I just refuse A tier? Have a bit, we have a couple A tiers on the wheel, that's for sure. So, this team, we have Sinistra. Okay, interesting. Cinderace, Tapu Lele, Corviknight, Nidoqueen, Mienshao. Wait, isn't Sinistra the pre-evo? Wait, no. Poltergeist is the pre-evo. Right. So it's just Cinderace, Tapu Lele, Corviknight, Nidoqueen, Mienshao, Swampert, Umbreon, Altaria, Lopunny, and Alolan Graveler. So Sinistra, it has the signature move. It's Grass Ghost type. It has Terra. I don't know. We'll have to see because I don't actually really know what this mod wants to accomplish. It might be pretty good. with Terra, it might be pretty bad. Um, who really knows? Honestly, Cinderace, good mon. I really like it. Lele, really threatening mon. Corviknight is it's Corviknight. Nidoqueen's a solid mon. You can T-Spike with it. You can run like Life Orb. You can run Black Sludge, bulkier sets. Mienshao, decent. I like Mienshao. It has Regenerator, U-turn. I mean, it has knockoff. With Fighting Stab goes pretty well. Swampert, the inferior water ground type. Again, Quagsire's the only good one. Um, Umbreon, it's very cringe, but it is a decent one. As cringe as it is. Altaria, I mean, without Terra, I feel like it just exists. It has Will-O-Wisp in Gen 9. So I guess you could run a bulky set with it. Just Will-O-Wisp, Roost, Defog, and like, I don't know, Draco Meteor. Fuck if I know. I don't know what Altaria is supposed to do. I mean, with Terra, you could DD and try to like click buttons, but I don't know. Lopunny, I mean, it's a Mon, right? And Alolan Graveler's a Mon, but I really like this top end here. The Cinderace, Lele, Corv, Nidoqueen. That's pretty good. I feel like if the rest of the team was better, this could be S tier. But it's solidly like lowish end of A tier. Next up, we have the Worcester Tornadus. I imagine that's how you say it because British names are not exactly, you know, right. Alright, it's wheel time. Well, finally, it's not A tier. We have B tier for. Okay. So this team. Revavroom, Great Tusk, Zapdos, Meowscarada, Azumarill, Hisuian Zoroark, Uxie, Gigalith, Ursaring, Kricketune, and Snom. So this team is really garbage. And when I say really garbage, I mean really garbage. But the Snom does save it. But it's so bad that it doesn't even Snom doesn't even drag this team to S tier. It's just that bad. I mean, come on. What is this? I mean, Revavroom? Come on. I mean, and Cricketune as well. If this was Kricketot, if you have Kricketot and Snom, definitely, probably S tier. But Cricketune? Disgusting. Anyways, next up, let's get this team out. We have the Seattle Marowaks, coached by, who is this? Cadillacs? We have Heads. We have Tails. It's wheeling time. Oh, okay. F tier for the Seattle Marowaks. Okay. So this team, Dipplin, Max Caliber, Glowcake. What the fuck is this OU team? I mean, if you swap the Glowcake for 8 Tails, that's literally an OU team. This is why you're F tier. You're a sweaty ass tryhard. Manaphy, Ogerpon Cornerstone, Mandibus, Fortress, Alolowag, Hisuian Electrode, Arctovish, and Diglett. Okay, so first of all, cringe, Snowbacks Manaphy. This is literally just day one DLC OU. This one should be the Terra Captain, not Diplin. This one sucks. This one sucks. Diglett's a Diglett. This one sucks. And you do have an Ogerpon, which is pretty based. But you just have a day one snow team. I mean, the A-Tails is a Glowcake, but that makes it even more cringe. Anyways, next. We have the Distortion World Doofs, coached by Panda of Redness. Hating on Brits based. Yeah, Brits are pretty cringe. Anyways, that was Tails, and this one's Heads. So we spin the wheel. Alright. S tier for the Distortion World Deuce. The wheel has spoken. So, this team. Confe, the Bungler, instant S tier. Annihilate, Iron Trance, Reuniclus, Among Us, Vikavolt, Bombardier, Magmortar, Komala, and Carbink. So, Confe as a Terramon. Interesting, to say the least. It's pretty based, actually. Bundler is the bundler. It's insane 80% of the time, but I mean, it's good 100% of the time, 80% of the time. You know how they say it. Annihilate, it's an Annihilate, right? I mean, even without Terra, that one can be pretty silly. Iron Treads as well, really solid mod. It's no Tusk, right? It never will be, but it's still really good. And it has Volt Switch even, which is really nice. I like the fact that it has a momentum move. That's really important. Reuniclus. I mean, I feel like Reuniclus is pretty slept on. I think this can definitely get a sweep. At least once in the season, right? Because someone's not gonna prep for it, or someone's not gonna have like a dark type or some shit and just gets rolled by it. Among Us is Among Us. Vikavolt. I like the webs here for Bundler. Just run modest and outspeed everything. But um, Annihilate with webs, really scary because now a lot of things, even if it doesn't run a lot of speed investment, it's still gonna outspeed because of webs. Um, Offensive treads. I mean, if you want like that, that's gonna really appreciate webs. Bombardier's an interesting one. It has rocks. It has three stabs because it has stab on rock moves. It has knockoff. I'm pretty sure, right? You could even run bulky if you want. It has like Roost Defog, which is something. I think it gets foul play as well. You could run it as worse man the bus, but that could potentially be offensive with just click Stone Edge. Magmortar. I mean, it has pretty neat coverage to be fair. It's not the worst mon. Kamal is a decent low tier mon. It spins, so Treads doesn't have to spin every week. And Carbank, as far as like really low point ones go, it gets rocks. It should get screens. So it definitely can do things. But Bundler Annihilate is pretty crazy. And then you have Among Us. I mean, it's Among Us. It has to be S tier. Next up, we have the Toronto Raptors, coached by Pro Hybrid. Okay, we're gonna actually rank this team. Donphan, Iron Valiant, Tapu Koko, Zygarde 50, Bad Mon, but whatever, Blissey, Iron Jugulus, Tentacle, Bronzong, uh, Qualasol, Drifblim, and Bruxish. Okay. So you minus points for the fucking Bruxish, because that mon sucks. Um, I like the speed tiers here. I think they're really good. What I don't think it's really good is Zygarde. I don't think that one actually accomplishes much in most games. Donphan, I mean, Donphan also sucks, honestly. I mean, with Terra, you can maybe do something, but Valiant Coco is pretty crazy. Is a pretty crazy duo. Like you have Jugulus as well for U-Terrain. You have Unburdened Driftblim. It's a pretty solid E-Terrain team. You have Blissey, which does keep teleport in national decks. So you can soak up a special hit, teleport out. Tentacruel's a solid spinner. Donphan spins as well. Bronzong is a solid mon for sure. Koalosol's also a spinner. You're pretty good. You have pretty good hazard removal. You also have a lot of rockers. Koalosol has has spikes. Even Tentacruel has T spikes. Um, I mean, it's Valley and Coco. You have other terrain abusers. I really don't like Zygarde. I think Zygarde is bait, and the Donphan signature I don't really like as well. But I think the Valiant, the Coco, the Jugs, and like the rest of the supporting cast being decent, I think puts this team like solidly like high end the B tier. Not the biggest fan of it, but the top end is pretty good. Next up we have My Little Munchkin. That's an S tier team name by the German Jam. Have heads, and we have heads. Okay, so we have Ardino, Roaring Good because it has knockoff. Um, Blacephalon, the Crossma, Skarmory, Mamoswine, Suicune, Roserade, Girder, Armaldo, and the Dende? Yep. So, um, pretty nice that there's all 18 types with no repeats. Not that that's actually matters because who actually cares about rock, bug, or ice, right? But it's neat. On the speed tiers here, I like the speed tiers. They're pretty good. Um, Seems pretty physically oriented. There's a lot of physical mons going on here. Like you have Blacephalon. The crossbow is also. I mean, it can be physical, but it has a higher special attack stat. But and then you also have Suicune and Roserade. But in terms of like actual like big hitters, it's really just Blacephalon and I guess the crossbow, but it can swing both ways. So I think another special attacker here would be pretty nice. Roaring Moon has knockoff now, which makes it actually a good mon. Um, you do have a lot of hazards going on. You have a lot of rockers. You have Skarm and Roserade for spikes. Roserade also gets T spikes. But their only spinner with all this hazard setting is Armaldo. So having and your defoggers are Skarm and Girder, and Skarmory is never defogging. All right, Skarmory is not a defogger. Skarmory clicks spikes. You don't want to defog your own fucking spikes. So hazard removal here is pretty poor. But it's fine because you can just run 6 boots. That who cares? Um, the team doesn't have a lot of momentum. There's only one Volt Switcher and 2 U-turners, and the Dene has both. So not a lot of pivoting going on here. Um, unless something gets teleport. No, none of these mons are Gen 1 mons. They don't get teleport. Um, so the Edgequake weakness is pretty bad. I mean, Skarmory eats everything, but besides that, ooh, kind of rough. But I think I would like if the Roserade was a grass type that resisted ground. I think that would have been nice for sure. Um, but this team is really threatening. It has a lot of hazard stacking going on, and then you have Roaring Moon, Blacephalon, the Crossma, Mamoswine. Like you could set up Calm Minds with Suicune. That can be pretty threatening. Oh, like these 4 are just so hard to stop. That they just bring this team to like A tier territory alone. Um, Ardino as the Terra Monk captain is interesting. Swap out the normal type for a better defensive type. You have Wish Regenerator. You just wish, switch to one of your offensive threats. You heal the Audino, you heal the damage the offensive mon takes. I dig it. I dig it. He's not the best Terra captain, but I like the mon for sure. You do have a lot of knockoff, which is pretty nice. Even Blacephalon could click knockoff, or maybe knockoff on like a Blissey switch or some shit. But the offensive core is fucking disgusting, and like you back it up with Skarm or Dino Suicune, it's really good. I think this team is pretty solidly like Is it S tier? I don't think it's S tier. I think it's high, very high A tier though. So I can't believe a team called My Little Mud Still is actually good. Next up, we have the Sunbreeze Stunfisks, coached by Camo Convention, aka the Wiglet bot person. We have heads, and we have tails. I was gonna say, if I flip 6 heads in a row, that's kind of crazy. Alright, that's tough, man. But hey, I did break your bot by nicknaming all 6 of my mons fucking Pama jump scare. So I think you deserve this one. Alright, the team. Liepard, Mew, Tapu Fini, Komo-o, Raikou, Arcanine, Tinkaton, Torterra, Smeargle, Toucanon, and Muk. So, alright, Smeargle is terrible. Let's just start off with that. Liepard is the Terramon. I mean, what even are these low tiers? I mean, Muk, it does have T-Spikes, so it can do something. Toucanon, I mean, what the fuck is Toucanon gonna do? It gets the Toucanon. Smeargle, who cares? Torterra with Shell Smash Headlong Rush, interesting, but I mean, it's brand new. We'll have to see how it actually goes. Tinkaton at 10 points feels overpriced. I'd take it at like 8, but it's a decent utility mon, but at 10 points, Arcanine, I mean, it's an Arcanine, right? Raikou, it's a Raikou. Como, I'm not the biggest fan of Como, right? Because the 4 times fairy weakness is just so debilitating. Like Hydra, Hydra's faster, right? You can run Scarf with that. It has U-turn to like pivot out of bad matchups. Um, it has rocks now alongside Como. I feel like I'm just not the biggest fan of Como. Fini, I mean, I feel like Fini runs into like some anti-synergy issues here because Raikou wants to click Scald, Arcanine wants to click Will-O-Wisp sometimes, Dinkaton can't T-Wave, Liepard can't Prankster T-Wave in Misty Terrain. That's just bad synergy. And Mew, I mean, Mew just suffers from Mew syndrome. Like, I mean, what's the hazard removal here? Fini, like, I mean, Toucanon should defog. It's a flying type in Gen 7. It should. And then Spherical. um, so hazard removal isn't that good. Mew might have to be relegated to the utility duties more than you like. This team just sucks. I mean, Smeargle to instant F tier, and the rest of the team doesn't really make up for it. It's just bad. This team sucks so much. I'm gonna have to break the bot again. And last for the Ether division, we have the Tampa Bay Sauce Buccaneers, coached by Salamaster. We have Tails. And we have Tails. Alright, that's tough, buddy. Not that double. I should have had double Tails actually do something. Alright. S tier for Salamaster. So this team. Sigilyph, Gliscor, Heatran, Slowbro, Fezandipity, Iron Hand, Starina, Mabusta, Cinccino, Wishiwashi, and Baniri. So, Sigilyph as a Terramon is pretty nutty. I feel like with Magic Guard and like stuff, I feel like this could just be like a flying type, like a slightly worse Espadra. You click Cosmic Power a bunch, you have Roost, and then you just go off with Stored Power and the and Terra Blast. It just seems like budget Espadra, which does seem pretty good. Gliscor is Gliscor. I mean, it's just a good mod. It has spikes now too, because it didn't have enough good moves to begin with. Now it has one more. Heatran, I mean, As long as you don't face a team with 8 fucking ground types, I think you'll be fine. Oh, Slowbro. It's a Slowbro. It clicks Future Sight, it clicks Teleport. It's a good mod. Pheasantipity. I think this one's the one with Technician, so we can do stuff. Iron Hands. I mean, holy shit. Iron. Um, and Iron Hands is a good mod. For sure. It can do things. One thing I will say, Iron Hands becomes 10 times better once you start running Volt Switch on it. Because I feel like ground types, I mean, ground types can switch into it, but it does learn Ice Punch, so they're risking that. Especially a Lando T. Like, if you just lazily click Lando T on hands, it might just Ice Punch you, and it's not gonna kill because of Intimidate, but it's gonna do a lot. And that's not gonna be fun. Alright, but Volt Switch on hands, it's so nutty. You just slow Volt Switch out into something else. Tsarina, um, it's a very solid like mid-tier grass type. Like among like all the like mid-tier grass types, I feel like mid-tier grass types are just an archetype in of themselves in Mons. You have the Decidueye, you have both the Decidueyes, you have Tsarina, you have like fucking there's so many. I can't even Delmise. Um there's a lot, but I think Tsarina is the best out of them for sure. Has a lot of cool coverage. Has like play rough, triple axle. I think it gets high jump kick. You have like obviously grass stab. You have U-turn. You have spin. It's a Solomon. A Bostiff is interesting. I think it has the ability that makes it immune to intimidate and gets an attack boost. I don't remember. It's an interesting mon. Chinchino. Chinchino's decent. I mean, I could see it being the Terra Captain, but I think the Sigilif has a lot of potential. And then like, who cares about the Wishy Washy and Baneri? Because I think the rest of the team is really good. Um, so that concludes Ether Division. Well, now we're going on to the Plasma Division, and we will start off with Experiment W by Lin. Maybe he can get some W's, as the team name would imply. Heads and heads. Okay. Oh, this is another Sigilif Terra team. Okay. Well, then go Greninja, Terrakion, Lola Ninetales, Vikavolt, Torterra, Galgi, Arctozolt. So Arctozolt 9 points it is. No wonder it's not the Terramon. Pyroar, and the last one, Servine. Okay, so what I just said about Sigilif, I mean, I know I ranked the wheel said S tier, so I had to like make it seem good. I think it could be good. I'm not sure if it will. It's an interesting idea. I think it has potential, but only time will tell. Goldango, it's a pretty good mon, right? It's a Goldango. I don't think you have enough hazard stacking for Goldango, and that's where it really shines. I mean, you have Webs, right? Webs Goldango's really good, but I'd like a better rocker, because, I mean, Terrakion can run rocks on, like, the fourth slot in some weeks. Torterra has Shell Smash now. I feel like you want to run that more often than not, but it's still a reliable rocker. Greninja has dual spikes and Dragalge has spikes, but if you have Protean on Greninja or Battle Bond, I don't think you want to be spiking that often, right? And if you're like running like spikes on like a Protean on a Greninja that can run not Protean, I feel like that's kind of a waste. Um, you don't have a spinner, which is really bad on a webs team because you don't want to remove your own webs. That's kind of really bad. Like, it's one thing to remove like your own rocks or your own spikes. It's another to remove your own webs because you're kind of building the entire team around that. Speaking of which, you have webs, you have Veil, you have Arctozolt with that, Goldango with webs and Veil, Terrakion with webs and Veil is pretty crazy. Torterra can set up a shell smash on their Veil. There's definitely some stuff going on here. I really don't like the Pyroar. I think it's a terrible mon, and the Servine's a throwaway. It's a Servine. It's also the only mon on your team that learns knockoff, which is kind of awkward because that move is really good. But it's a decent team. I don't know if the Veil will carry that hard. If this was Paldea decks, then like building the team around Veil webs, I think would be really good. Right? Just nasty plug Goldango behind Veil and webs, or just arc those ult behind Veil and webs. But I don't think that works as well in national decks. That's for sure. So I'm gonna put it very solidly in B tier. Next up, we have the California Corrupted, coached by Corrupt. We have heads. And we have quadruple heads. Alright. Ekchon Hisui, Glyspore. Heatran, Dondozo. Blissey. Goltress. Tinkaton, Tentacruel. Flamingo. Four guys. Then what the hell was the last one? Ew, Bruxish. Okay. So Hisui and Electrode at 5 points as the Terramon is insane. It's Terra Ice and like it just has every coverage. It clicks Specs T-Bolt, it clicks Specs Leaf Storm, it clicks Specs Ice Terra Blast. Which is pretty insane, especially at 5 points. Gliscor is Gliscor. This is another Gliscor Heatran team. I think we saw that like just now. Dondozo Blissey. I mean, it's annoying, that's for sure. I don't know if this team has enough offense. Like Goltress can be scary if you can double dance. Flamigo, has Scrappy CC, which is something. And Heatran can be specs, right? Or just offensive in general. It doesn't have to be specs, right? But I think this team hinges too much on Hisui and Electrode for like its offense. And it's a really good offensive one, don't get me wrong, because with Terra Ice is just insane, but I feel like this team needs more offense. That's for sure, because Dozo, Blissey, bit annoying. Blissey wish passing to Dozo is pretty nutty. I will give you that. This team also does feel very reliant on wish passing from Blissey. So like if your opponent can like taunt the Blissey, it's kind of Jover. Right, because Heatran doesn't have reliable recovery, Dondozo doesn't, Tinkaton doesn't, Tentacruel doesn't. So I feel like Blissey is a bit Blissey kind of has to hold this team together. And if your opponent can break your team, it's kind of over. If they could break the Blissey at least, I think the rest of the defensive core can potentially fall apart. I just think this team needs another offensive threat. The speed tiers are also pretty bad. Not a fan of it. Electrode and Sui is your only mon that outspeeds base 100. Tentacruel ties base 100, but it's the only. Chode is the only one that outspeeds base 100, which isn't ideal. But yeah, I think it has potential, but I don't think it has enough firepower to close out games. And obviously stall can work, but I don't know if this is exactly it. But I think it's a decent team, albeit hard to pilot. So I'm gonna put it at B tier as well. Next up, we have the Paralyzed Florges, coached by Nick and Sir Palmot here. We have heads. We have heads. That's 6 heads in a row. Okay. So this team, Belly Bolt, um, Locking Wake, Crozma, Ogrepon, Wellspring, Togekiss, oh, Togekiss, Slitherwing, Torkoal, uh, Brubonnet. Brubonnet being 8 points is kind of crazy. That thing with Terra goes pretty hard. Doublade, Sandslash, and the last one, Base Lickitung. So, it's a Sun team, but I think it's a way better Sun team because, well, you have Walking like Torkoal. You also have Slitherwing Brute Bonnet, which is really good. I think Bonnet with Terra could be good, but I know Nick really likes Belly Bolt and knows how to use it. So Belly Bolt with Terra will be really good. I know that for a fact. I know he also really likes Necrozma, so I expect good things out of that as well. Walking Wake is Walking Wake. No idea why they decided it should get knockoff with Flip Turn, but it has knockoff with Flip Turn. That's just how it is. Ogerpon, obviously Ogerpon without Terra isn't crazy, but it's still Ogerpon, right? It's fast, it hits hard, it has knockoff, U-turn, it has really good coverage. Togekiss, I mean, Nick relies on hacks to win, so, Serene Gracemon, right up his alley. I think I really like this team. I think it's a good, photosynthesis based Sun team, not like an old school style Sun team with like fire types and chlorophyll users. But I really like it. Um, has a lot of offensive potential, and you can always fall back on your Togekiss, your Belly Bolt, or even like defensive Brute Bonnet for your if you need to like slow the tempo down. Um, you also have solid hazard control. Lickitung I always really like. I think that one's great. It has knockoff. It has wish support. I really like it. I really like this team. Um, is it S tier? It's close. I think it depends on how good Ogerpon really is without Terra. But the team has Ogerpon, so I'm gonna slot it in S tier because I like Ogerpon. Just don't let it get paralyzed or some shit. Um, Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Pawnyard, coached by Void. Um, Coin. Alright, sick. Alright, F tier for the Pittsburgh Pawnyard. So, Minior, Deoxys Defense, interesting. Kartana, Quaquaval, Ogrepon, Tealmask, Regidrago, Brambleghast, Lanoon, Knucklestack, Arboliva, and Piloswine. That's 5 7-point mods. What the fuck? So, Minior just sucks. Even with Terra, it's so bad. It doesn't actually do anything. A DOD, I mean, it's a good spike stacker, but I feel like Gen 9 um National Next, I feel like I mean obviously like it's bulky, but it still has base 50 HP, which isn't ideal. It's a little bulkier than Diancie, which is bulky, but not the craziest thing ever. I mean, it just gets taunted by a faster Mon and like just becomes useless. Like it's base 90, so it's not slow, right? But it's passive. I mean, it clicks spikes, but like, I mean, we have boots, right? If this was like Gen 7, Gen 6, this would be incredible. There's a lower power level, there's no boots to ignore your spikes, right? This one would actually be crazy, but not so much here. Kartana, I mean, Kartana's a fine mon, but I feel like doubling up on physically offensive grass types with Kartana and Ogerpon doesn't really make a lot of sense. Quaquaval's decent, but yeah. Regidrago at 12 points is a bit too expensive. That mod is not 12 points. Like, it's decent, don't get me wrong. And with Terra, it's pretty insane. But I think this one was a bit way overpriced. A Bramblegast is terrible. This isn't VGC. Lanoon, I mean, it can barely throw me a speed sweep. Like, it has the potential to do that, but yeah, I think you may get one of those in the season, but like, I feel like people have to prepare for that at some point. Oh, oops. Um, Knucklestock, I mean, without Terra, that thing is pretty bad. Arboliva, that's a third grass type for no reason. Piloswine. It's a Piloswine, right? Who cares? Um, that's not a third grass type. That's a fourth grass type. Bramblegat. What the fuck is this? This team actually is so bad. Anyway, F tier. Next, we have the Winnipeg Dragapults, coached by Yasha. We have Tails, and we have Tails. All right, Yasha. Yasha is in the VC. He could see this happening live. All right, B tier. I can spell. I promise. Yep, B tier. All right, so this team. Oh, it's a rain team. Oh, fun. Overcoat, Bundler, Zapdos, Shocks, Pelipper, Celebi, Mimikyu, Fortress, Poliwrath, Beartic, and Basculin. So, Overcoat is a Terramon in rain. Pretty solid. Bundler is Bundler. Zapdos is Zapdos. Like, that one's super good. Shocks. Does Shocks get Weather Ball? I feel like I don't remember if it does. I know Kilowatt Troll does. I don't know if Shocks gets Weather Ball. If it does, that's actually pretty good. If it doesn't, I mean, it clicks Thunder and Rain, but like, so does Zapdos. Don't really see much of a point. It gets Rocks and Spikes, but like, if you want Overcloak and click Spikes, I mean, obviously it's your Terramon, but you can. It has T-Spikes. On Pelipper, it's a rain team, right? It has to be in there. Celebi is a decent one, right? The 4 times U-turn weakness is annoying, but you have a static Zapdos that you can switch in. And static always procs. It's the same chance to proc static as Scald has of burning. It always procs. But only for your opponent. You know how it is. Mimikyu at 11 points? That's not that good. It doesn't hit hard enough. It's base 90 something attack. Yeah, kind of bad. Fortress is also bad. Poliwrath. You have Poliwrath, Beartic, and Basculin. I think Basculin gets Swift Swim. It should. Like, I don't know. I feel like you just tossed on a bunch of like Swift Swimmers at the end for no reason, and like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like weird. Doesn't really like they're just there for the sake of being there. Um, but the top end is pretty good. Um, it's just pretty average draft, I would say. Not the best rain team I've ever seen. Not the worst either. Next up, we have the Shanghai Shuppets, coached by Galactic. Let's see, Tails. I get to spin wheel. Been a while since I've rolled seats here. Okay. The Shanghai Shuppets, let's see. Runerigus, Iron Valiant, Roaring Moon, Among Us, Regieleki, Registeel, Alabamola, Charizard, Galarian Mr. Mime, Malamar, and Audino. So, Runerigus has a Terramon? A Runerigus. I mean, what does that thing really do? Right? What does it do with Terra? Does it? I mean, it could switch defensive type. I don't know. I feel like defensive mons with Terra are way worse. Like if this was like an offensive mon with Terra, maybe. But mm, I don't really like Runerigus as the signature. Valiant Roaring Moon. I mean, it's a Valiant and a Roaring Moon. I mean, what else can I really say? Among Us, pretty decent. Regieleki at 12, I feel is a bit overpriced. Registeel at 11, I mean, maybe 10, right? But Regis are whatever there. Alamomola, come on. I mean, it does have Flip Turn now, which is pretty big. Zard, it's whatever. Not a fan of Galarian Mr. Mime. I tried it once. I don't remember if it was Mime or like Mr. Rhyme, but I drafted one of them once and it was just fucking useless. Malamar, I mean, I know Gala likes Malamar, right? To expect good things from it. And Audino's a decent mon, right? And has Wish Regenerator, as I mentioned before. But I don't know. I feel like it falls off super hard after like Valley and Moon. So yeah, it's pretty whatever. Pretty whatever draft. Next up, we have the Smoliv Garden, coached by the scary Smoliv. Lovely. I get the flip coin. Yes, I do that every time. Can we not get A tier for once? I'm gonna have to remove A tier from the wheel soon. I swear to God. Alright, this team. Jolteon, Corviknight, Ursaluna, Hydreigon, Esmothra, Glamora, Poros, Aqua Breed, Dhelmise, Comfey, Wishiwashi, and Crocalor. Crocalor 1 point's pretty decent. It's just an Evian regenerator? Yeah, no. Unaware. Wrong stall ability. Zero Jolteon's crazy. I have it in the league. It can't even turn into every type. Only three, but it's still crazy. Core of its core. Ursaluna. I mean, you know how, Five Nights of, 5 turns in Trick Room goes. Hydreigon's a really good mon. I mean, it does a lot of different things. It can be bulky. It can click rocks now. For no fucking reason. They decided, let's give it rocks and take Roost away from it because that makes sense. It can be plot, can be DD, specs, scarf, anything really. Just run choice band head smash Hydreigon because why not? Espantra, without Terra, it's a fine mon. You can run Specs Lumina Crash. You can run Specs Trick. Well, you probably run both on the same set, huh? You can still go for Calm Mind, but you really have to be careful that the Dark type doesn't just, like, eat D-Gleam for days. Glamora is a decent mon. I like it to pair, to have a Jolteon and Ursaluna to just click buttons. Poros is always a decent mon. It can definitely do things. Dhelmise, I like it. Not my favorite mid-tier Grassmon, but it's fine. It has spin. It spin blocks itself. Comfey, high skill cap mon, but always threatening because I feel like every time I see it drafted, it always sweeps someone for no discernible reason. And then Wishiwashi just exists. I can't believe Damon's 3 points, but Crocalor's only 1. Um, it's a solid team for sure. I really like the Jolteon or Saluna. Like, those mons are just gonna win games, just single-handedly. Next up, we have the Old English Ice Cube, coached by Gert Bobo. Um, this is the team of all time. Tails. Oh? Alright, this team has an Ogerpon. It's instant S tier. Next. I mean, this is actually... No, these four are actually really good. With a Terra Frostmoth as well, but no. Ogerpon. S tier. Alright. Next up, we have the Wisteria Way Whimsicott. I almost said Bay, which is, this is certainly not a B. Where's the logo, Wenceslas Whooper? None of this makes sense. As we flipped heads? I flipped double heads. Okay. Um, Delphox, Garchomp, Great Tusk, Scizor, Galarian Weezing. Uh, did you know? Live Slug Reaction. Aerodactyl, not Frostmoth, Frostlass, Electrode, and Cottony. Oh, Cottony. There we go. Damn, no info on my team. Bad flip. I mean, the info is you have Ogerpon. That's all you need to know. So, this team, Pterodactyl Fox, oh, obviously pretty good. The fact that you have a ghost weakness immediately alarms me because you have no normal type. Though obviously Wo-Chan's a pretty good ghost resist, all things considered. Um, flying weakness is really bad because your flying resists are pretty frail. Like Tro doesn't eat hits and Arrow eats hit, does not eat hits. So the flying weakness isn't concerning because the steel type's part bug. Um, I mean, obviously, Chomp can like kind of ruin Brave Birds with Rough Skin Rocky Helmet if needed. But if it's a Hurricane, you're just fucked. Um, I do. I think the speed tiers here are fine. Like even if there's like 20-point jumps there between Electro, Arrow, and Frostlass, I think it's fine. Um, you don't really have a lot of special offense. It's really just Delphox, just carrying the team. Because your next highest is Vaporeon, but that's a Vaporeon. You're that's not a what? Are you running Specs Vaporeon? You just click Specs Pump with like Ice Beam, and like I don't think Vaporeon gets any other coverage moves. So I guess you run Calm Mind Stored Power. That's what you do. Um, but Vaporeon's a good mom. Has Wish, has Flip Turn, which is pretty good. You do have two really good rockers in Chomp and Tusk. Depending on the matchup, one can be, more support, one can be more offensive, depending on who has, who can break easier. Chomp also has spikes. You also have T-Spikes and Galarian Weezing. Your only spinner is Tusk, which isn't ideal, but you do have reliable defoggers in Galarian Weezing and Scizor. Again, Scizor, another mod, you can run offensive if it has a good matchup. You can run more support, bulky. Because, has Roost, Defog. Seem could use more momentum. Right? You do have your electric type. You do have the Scizor and the Vaporeon, but I think it could use more pivoting moves for sure. Um, I think this team has some problems. I think the biggest one really is the flying weakness. I think that really needs to be sorted somehow. Maybe dropping Scizor for another a steel that isn't neutral to flying. Or if there's any decent ones available, I think that's like the biggest thing. Um, but Pterodon Fox is really scary. You could use a special attacker. That's also that. So maybe a flying resistant and special attacker is the most important things here. Like I think those could take this team to like really high, like maybe even S tier. But right now, I think this team is high end of B tier. Really has some glaring issues for sure. Um, what's the team name called? Hysteria Way, Whimsicott. Okay. Next up, we have the Emperors, coached by DTN. Good old DTN. Tails, cool. Oh, that's C tier. Yep. Okay. C tier. Okay. So this team, Vismagius, Tornadus Therian, Hoopa U, Blacephalon, Empoleon, Haxorus, Pomach, Chinchino, Dakshbun, Alolan Dougie, and the fucking Calyrex. So Calyrex is a terrible Pokemon. Let's just get that one out of the way. I have no idea why you would draft that thing. You know what? Let's look at the tier list. Let's actually look at the tier list. Let's see. Look at all these mons you could draft. And all of them are better than Calyrex. You see this Bagon? This Bagon is better than fucking Calyrex, alright? That's all I'm gonna say. You could draft a Bidoof. But no, you draft Calyrex. What the fuck? Right? You could probably actually find something better than Calyrex at one point, let's be real. Carkol? You could draft a Carkol. That's something you could bring to a game. Probably. Chimecho at one point, very based, and also better than Calyrex. That's your psychic type. Uh, um, you could draft Crocolore as your 1 point mon. That's better than Calyrex. Let's look. Diglett, I mean, it has Arena Trap. It's something. Um, let's see. There has to be more. You could draft. Someone drafted Fracture. That's so based. I mean, you could tear a bug first impression the Fracture. Not that you should, but it's funny. Wait, how many points is Hisuian Growlithe if it's not here alongside Growlithe? I'm actually curious. You could draft Hatchram. That's better than Calyrex. That's a better psychic type. That's two better psychic types now. You could draft the Kakuna. But no, you draft Calyrex. Okay, that's enough shitting on Calyrex. What about the rest of the team? Oh, Hoopa U fucking sucks. Alright, it's slow. It has a 4 times weakness to U-turn. It's bad. It's not fast enough. You don't even have like webs to support it or anything. The Cephalon is decent mon. Tornadus Therian, again, it's good 80% of the time. Which, I don't know how your luck goes. Alolan Dougie is something to say the least. Chinchino's decent. This Magus as a Terra Captain's pretty good. Palmot, I mean, if you play Nick, this Palmot is really good. If you don't, it's a Palmot, right? It's decent. Even the apple's better than Cali. Yeah. Empoleon is there. But yeah, no, Calyrex is just bad. And I don't like the Hoopa U either. Next up, we have the Copenhagen Rajas, coached by Alfan. Um, also picked the mascot, pretty based. Heads and tails. We get an oh, it's really close. It's B tier. It's not actually that close. Okay. So we have Comparaja, the mascot pick, Weavile, Sylveon, Rotom Heat, Hisuian Zoroark, Milotic, Mienshao. I feel like I've seen all these mons on the half these mons on the same team before. Donphan, Quillfish, Altaria, and Leafeon. Um, so you have the Weavile there, but I feel like the rest of the team doesn't really stack up. It's not like some this really crazy stall team It's not like some like hyper offense team. It's a fine team, right? But I don't think there's enough like huge like threats on this. There's the Weavile, obviously. Sylveon, I mean, you could specs it sometimes. Rotom Heats, the Solomon. Hisuian Zoroark, I mean, I'd like it to be better, but at the end of the day, it's still a Zoroark. Right? It's a fine Mon, but nothing spectacular. Melodich, I mean, fat, annoying piece of shit. Mienshao, it's a Mienshao. It's a fine Mon. I like it. I don't like Donphan though. I think it kind of sucks. Goldfish, it's there. It stacks spikes. Altaria, whatever. I really like Leafeon. I think it's a pretty based pick. Um, but I feel like this team is missing like a huge off special attacker because I don't think Hisui Zoroark is like the thing to like carry like a team really. It's just missing like it's missing like that superstar pick, right? I mean, obviously there's a Weavile, but like this team just feels underpowered for Natdex levels, really. It's a B tier draft. Next up, we have the Wellington Ho-Oh, coached by Starvin Pig. Heads, tails. Okay. How am I gonna make fun of word here? Well, there you go. The wheel has spoken. So, as I said, you know, not long ago, uh, before hopping on this, before hopping on the power rankings, let's find it here. This team is the best team I've ever seen in my 8 years of Draft League. And it would be S plus plus tier if not for this stupid fucker right here. Because this one, Wordier, is fucking trash. But hey, you do need a handicap after all, because this team is insane. Anyway, next up, we have the Boston Ruins, coached um, by Winterbub. Heads? No, I don't want. Fuck off, Google. And heads. Okay. Been a while since I actually genuinely ranked the team. Um, so let's go. Tyrantrum. Why is it another Snowback Excalibur team? Fuck off. Smoking Galar. I thought the days of day one DLCOU were over. Alakazam, Moltres, Gastrodon, Ditto, Orfworm, Grafaiai, Phalanx, and Corsola Galar. Okay, so Tyrantrum, I feel like having Tyrantrum and Bax on the same team is a bit redundant. They're both physically offensive dragons, right? At that point, you could just pick like any other like offensive like Terramon that you can Terra, and like it would be just as good, if not better. Bax Cloaking is insane. Alakazam is a really good mon, which is a nice mon as well. Yastro also pretty nice. Ditto, how many points did Ditto cost? 8. Uh, I'd still consider it a bit overpriced, but not as much as most other leagues I've seen. Because I feel like people have put Ditto high because like they saw like it be used in like when fucking Dynamax was allowed in Sword and Shield OU. And then like I feel like a lot of leagues I see just kind of kept it like overinflated because of it. But like it's a Ditto. Like obviously it can be annoying because if you're going up against a team that relies on setup, they now have to like completely change their game plan for this matchup specifically. But at the end of in practice, it's like it punishes bad players who don't realize that they can't just set up because there's a Ditto, right? It punishes greedy and bad players. That's basically it. It's like a vibe check. Like, can you win games without setup? That's basically what Ditto does. You don't have a fairy, you don't have a dark type, you don't have an electric type, which is pretty bad. You have But weaknesses, the ghost. I mean, do have two. I mean, Ditto isn't a ghost immunity because it's gonna transform probably into a non-ghost. Grafia, not the bulkiest mon in the world. It's actually pretty frail. Um, so not the greatest ghost immunity out there. Dark, I mean, your only resist is Phalanx, which is really bad. You have the Glow King and the Zam that are weak to it, and like you're gonna have to rely on Tyrantrum to like Terra into like certain types to like get sneak your way around these weaknesses. Um, Fairy type is kind of bad because the dragon you because dragons are just free. Your steel type is a Zorformer. Obviously, that's dragon resist, but like it doesn't have reliable recovery. And most dragons tend to have like fire coverage for Earthworm, which is not ideal. So ultimately, there's definitely some glaring issues defensively. The Galarian Corsola, I think, is a terrible mon. It's bad. It's passive. It doesn't do anything. It's a Evilemon that's weak to dark, so knockoff is just extra destructive. Phalanx is terrible. I wouldn't. This cost what, 5 points? You couldn't pay me 5 points to draft the mon this bad. Like, what does it even do? Oh, it clicks no retreat. Oh yeah, your terrible mon now has an Omni boost. Oh no. Whatever will I do? It's so Jover. Um, so Bax, Cloaking, Zam, really good. Moltres, Gastrodon, Orform to anchor, like so the defense of course decent. But I think the team kind of falls apart from there. Grafia is a neat utility mon, but I feel like the Tyrantrum just seems redundant when you have Bax. The Ditto, it's there, right? It's not the end of the world. But like Phalanx, and like Gorsola are just really bad. Grafia is there. The team just has a few too many like issues defensively. Really needs a fairy and a dark type. Um, and an electric. Not having an electric type is kind of annoying because I think electric is one of the best types in the game because Volt Switch just goes hard. You just click buttons, right? And if your opponent doesn't have a ground type or their ground type dies, then like it's just free real estate. That's just how it is. So I mean, it's still backs. Backs Zam is still kind of crazy. But I don't actually think that. Yeah, I think it's probably bottom end of B tier. So, pretty low B tier though. Next up, we have a little big problem, coached by Zeroga. Let's see how little of a big problem it is. Tails. Yay. Flip. Flip the wheel. Okay. C tier for a little big problem. For this team, Espeon, Lendo T, Urshifu Rapid, Toxapex, Rillaboom, Umbreon, Cyclizar, Ninetales, Steelix, Trevenant, and Dedenne. What are you doing with Ninetales? What? Espeon Morning Sun now heals 2/3? Wait, you can harvest every turn with fucking Trevenant? What is this? What the fuck? What are you even trying to accomplish with that mon? You just wasted 9 points for no reason. Steelix, I mean, it's a decent steal. Pex is there. Rillaboom, I mean, it's a Rillaboom. Grassy Glide got nerfed pretty hard, but it's still a decent mon. Espeon as a Terramon can be pretty good. Lando T or Shifu Rapid, I mean, goes without saying, that's kind of filthy. But I think the rest of the team kind of falls apart. Umbreon, it's there. Cyclizar, I like Cyclizar. I think it's a decent utility mon, but I really don't like this bottom end. The Dene is neat. I mean, you can recycle with it. It's funny, but I think the bottom end is just rough. Right, I think that like these top three mons are gonna have to carry because Rillaboom with 55 VP Grassy Glide, that's a pretty big nerf. And I don't think the rest of the team has it in it to be, good. I think second to last, Plasma Division team. We have the LA Ludicolos, coached by the Duke of Tacos. Um, we have heads. We have double heads. Okay. So, Sceptile, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Enamorous, Monkey Dory, which I still don't know what it does, funnily enough. Skarmory, Crondon, Uxie, Typhlosion, Hisui, uh, Bolton, Wacky. See, this is a team with a thing that can use grassy terrain. Graplocked. So, I mean, Graplocked isn't a Pokemon, let's be real. Sceptile, I mean, the Terramon, it can do stuff. It has grassy terrain support. So, like, its grass type is hitting harder. It procs on Burden. It can Swords Dance, Terra Flying Acrobatics. There's definitely things you can do with that. Ursaluna Blood Moon and Enamorous. I mean, Blissey is the only thing that. I mean, even. No, Blissey doesn't beat Enamorous because it just clicks Superpower with Contrary. Monkey Dory, it's a solid one. That's the special attacker one. Yeah, that's pretty good. Scarm, I mean, it's a Scarm. It's always gonna be good, right? It's not like it's completely worthless. Chronon can be really scary. Uxie, very solid support mod, has a lot of things it can do. Hisui Anti-Flosion, I mean, it can specs, well, it could Scarf Eruption, it could Specs Eruption, against slower teams. Bolton, Bolton's pretty funny. I've seen Bolton put in good work. Flaky, I mean, it sets up grassy terrain for Sceptile. That's basically all. That's basically its only purpose. Is to proc on burden on Mons. Um, the speed tiers here, I'm not a fan of the speed tiers because you have 121, 120, right? 106, 106, 95, 95. They're all very close together, which is not ideal, really. Right? If they were like, if this was like, I don't know, 125, 120, like maybe 110, 105, 106, right? But when they're like, when you have multiple mons on the same speed tier or like 1, 2 points apart, like that's kind of like, it's just a bit sketch for sure. In terms of wrong hazards, you have Skarmory and Uxie. That's pretty good. Your only hazard removal is Skarmory, which basically means you don't have hazard removal. You do have a lot of you do have a decent amount of Volturn. That's pretty nice. Um, I'm not noticing anything like super wrong with this. Flying weakness doesn't really matter because you have Scarm. Ghost weakness is a bit annoying because you did double up on psychics, but that's manageable. Ursaluna exists. You have, I mean, Chronon's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but it's there. Um, the fire weakness, it's a bit annoying because Crawdon, I mean, it's not you don't have a bulky water, right? Because Crawdon's your water. Um, but that's manageable. Ice weakness is pretty rough because again, Crawdon's not bulky, and Tensui Typhlosion isn't the bulkiest thing either. But again, I think you can play around that for sure. Not the worst team ever, not the greatest team ever. I think it's pretty solid, like average, like B tier team. And last, for the Plasma Division, we have the Cleveland Escavaliers, coached by Venom. We have Flip Tails. It's time for the wheel. The last wheel of the Plasma Division. We're on the home stretch. Alright, S tier. This has, not only does it have Ogerpon. Oh wait, what the fuck? This team is actually crazy. Hold up. Not only does it have the best Ogerpon, not only does it have Ogerpon, it has the best Ogerpon. Because Ogerpon is friend. Terra the Dunsparce I really like. Like actually, I really like Terra the Dunsparce. It's so fucking it's so annoying to fight go up against, especially with the right matchup. Coco treads Jugs. I think who was it? Was it Tark who had that? Yeah, Tark had that in season 7 and made finals. I'm pretty sure it was Coco treads Jugs specifically. You have Politoed. You have a rain mode of Politoed and Bascu Legion. Um, I assume you get both forms. 15? You have to, surely. The bottom end sucks. Like Smeargold sucks, Togetic sucks, Xatu. It has magic bounce, but besides that, it sucks. Hisuian Quillfish is pretty decent, but I think the E-Terrain core with Ogerpon, Heart Flame, obviously it can't Terra, but it's still an Ogerpon at the end of the day. The Dunsparce, really good mon with Terra, right? In terms of like Terra mons, right? Trans is a really good spinner. Xatu can Magic Bounce, so Ogerpon not being able to run Boots, not the end of the world. I think it's genuinely a really good team. I don't know if I would actually put it as tier, but the wheel has spoken, so that's how it be. And finally, we move on to the third and final division, the Yell division. We're gonna do significant amounts of screaming here. So first of all, we have the Kansas City Coffins, coached by the man, the myth, the legend, the goat, Jactus. We flip tails. I'm not even gonna flip the second coin. Let's just flip the wheel instead. I'm gonna run out of space in B tier. This is gonna be great. But B tier for Jactus. So this team, Sandaconda, Monkey Dory, Scizor, Melodich, Hatterene, Cyclozar, Life Wochen Reaction, Hisuian Typhlosion, Primeape, Lantern, and Golbat. So, obviously you have the Monkey Dory, you have the Scizor, just pretty solid. Hatterene can be pretty scary, depending on the matchup. Melodich, fat fucking fucker. Wochen, it's a Mon. Sandaconda as a Terram captain is interesting. Um, No, it's decent. It has glare. That move is dumb. Cyclozar, I really like Cyclozar. I mean, I drafted as a Terra Captain last season. It's really solid. Student Typhlosion is a decent mod. Primeape I really like. Depending on the matchup, it can bulk up Rage Fist, right? It could be Mini Annihilate. I would really like if Primeape was the Terra Captain over Sandaconda. Like, I think that could bump it up to like low A tier. But I think this team is pretty fine. Um, Next up, we have the Fighting Wurmples, coached by Attila, the god. We flip tails. Oh, please not B tier again. Oh, okay, C tier. So, let's see. Yanmega, Gliscor, Glowking, Manaphy, Infernape, Registeel, Slurpuff, Sinistcha, Tatsugiri, Morpeko, and Greedent. So, Yanmega is the Terramon, not a fan of. Gliscor, Glowking, really good defensive core. Manaphy's pretty scary now with take. I mean, uh, it's Manaphy. I feel like even with take card, it's still better on paper than it is on practice. Infernape does have knock this gen now. It did get buffed. It has the fire outrage, but I think it's really bad because they click the Watermon and you're dead. Especially if you 3-turn. If you 2-turn, you might still escape, right? But then if they switch into your fucking Raging Fury, it's Jover. That move is actually terrible. So my team legitimately ranked, I'm guessing though. Bread, I don't believe it was. Um, I'd have to check. I'm gonna check that right now. I'll check that after talking about Atila's team. Registeel. Decent mon. Slurpuff I'm not a fan of. Like, I don't think belly drum is that scary. Most weeks, webs. I mean, I feel like there's better webs mons. Um, Sinistshot. I mean, I don't know what that mon, how good that mon will be. Tatsugiri in singles, but this bad. It has spin, but it's still bad. Morpeko sucks, but it has spin. And Greedent. Greedent is funny. I think it would be a better Terramon than Yanmega in all honesty, but yeah, this team is just not it. Anyways, let me. What is Bread's team? And did I rank it legitimately? Um, I don't think it was, but I do actually think that this is pretty nutty. So it's not 100% ruled out. Um, Next up, we have the Berlin Breloons, coached by a Nubian, PWC legend, been around for forever at this point. Tails. All right. S tier for a Nubian. So this team: Machamp, Zerora, Meowscarada, Heatran, Salamence, Nihilego, Hisuian Braviary, Cryogonal, Galarian Rapidash, Wishiwashi, and Dunsparce. So Machamp as a Terramon is interesting. I've seen it do well. I think it does actually have pretty good potential. Zerora Meowscarada is kind of crazy. Heatran to go along with it is really good. Mence, it's immense. It can intimidate. It can be DD Moxie. Nihilego is always scary, especially with Meteor being power and like the Beast Boost. Hisuian Braviary, it's an interesting mon without Terra. Um, Obviously with Terra, it's insane, but it can't. So it's a fine mon. Cryogonal, it's a decent low tier spinner. Galarian Rapidash, I'm not a fan of. I'd like a different fairy. Maybe Daxbon would fit really nice. I think Daxbon would fit nicely on this team, to be fair. Wishy-Washy sucks, and Dunsparce is solid. Like, for as far as 3-point mons goes, it has like Rocks, T-Wave, not T-Wave, Glare, Body Slam even. Serene Grace Ice Beam moment would be pretty funny. I like the team for sure. Next up, we have the Ashbourne Souls, coached by Blind Fangs. Double heads? No, no double heads. Alright. Another S tier on the wheel, baby. Let's go. Alright. Ashbourne Souls and S tier. So this team: Dhelmise, Dragapult, Mew, Greninja, Iron Hand, Sylvali, Celebi, Runerigus, Aggron, Dedenne, and Kottni. So Dhelmise, solid utility mod. Pulse is Pulse. Mew is Mew. Don't that these two together is actually absurd. With a Greninja to go with it, Iron Hands as well is really good. Sylvali is a I really like Sylvali as a utility mon. I think it relieves the pressure of Mew to be a utility mon, because Sylvali has defog and has things to do. You have hazards in Celebi, Runerigus, even Greninja can set up spikes, so Mew doesn't have to pick up the slack. Aggron can always. I feel like Aggron has potential because Rockhead head smash, right? Like sometimes it can just do something. The Nene is a demon, right? Especially because it doesn't have recycle in Gen 9 for some reason, but this is national deck, so it does. And then you have the 1-point Cottony, which is funny. I don't know. I don't think you can bring level ones, but if you can, that's pretty based. But yeah, I mean, these two kind of insane. Next up, we have the Glencoe. Have I just not seen Hisuian Arcanine up until this point? What the fuck? We have the Glencoe Gudra, coached by Froggerman. Let's see. Heads. Tails. Okay. Another A tier. Okay. So, this team. Chestnut, Excadrill, Conkeldurr, Thundurus Styrian, Hisuian Arcanine, Screamtail, Mimikyu, Gudra, Araquanid, Bronzor, and Murkrow. So, I really like Terra Chestnut. Just removing the 4 times flying weakness is so good on it. Excadrill's a good mon. I would like Sand for it, because it's an Excadrill, but doesn't need it, really. Keldur's a good mon. Thundi T is a good mon. Hisuian Arcanine's a fucking menace. It clicks CB, Flare Blitz, CB, Head Smash all day, every day. Has E-Speed as well, because fuck you. Scream Tails is a solid support mon, as always. Has so many interesting moves to run. It can run dual screens. It can run like bulk up or calm mind if you really wanted to. It has Wish, Rocks, T Wave, Encore. It just has it all really for some reason. Mimikyu again. Mimikyu I don't really like. Gudra is a solid mon. It has Scald and Knockoff now. Don't know why it really needed those moves, but now it does. It has them. Araquanid, I like Araquanid on this team because Webs is really good. Drill really likes Webs. Studley really likes Webs. Arcanine really likes Webs. Even Mimikyu really likes Webs. Then the Bronzor and Micro, like, doesn't really matter. The rest of the team is really good. I like it. Next coach, we have the Dragon Leaf Gang. No spaces on anything, which is pretty funny. You have Tails. It's an A tier again. It's A tier again. It's actually really close, but it's A tier again. Okay. I can't wait to pick up a classic Johto League dumpster fire and have to put it in S. So, Frostmoth, Roaring Moon, Empoleon, Raikou, Clodsire, Garganacl, Chandelure, Florges, Galarian Articuno, Blackie, and Victreebel. Again, I don't know what exactly Blackie's enabling here. There's no, like, unburdened shit. What, are you gonna pop, like, Grassy Seed on Roaring Moon, Dragon Dance, and Acrobatics with no Terra Flying? I don't know, but I mean, it's still Roaring Moon. Terra Frostmoth is a menace. Empoleon's a good mon. Raikou's a good mon. Clodsire is a good mon. I don't like Garganacl. I think it sucks. Chandelure is a solid mon. Florges is a solid mon. Gardecudo, I mean, I feel like it's kind of a waste of a pick without Terra, and then Victreebel is just there. Like, I think these 5 are really good, plus these 2, but like, these 4, I think, are just. I feel like if you swapped those out, I feel like this team could be a lot better. But it's pretty solid. Garganacl isn't the most terrible thing ever, but I just don't like it in draft because, Koklo, because Titar would be nutty on this team. I assume you mean this. Yeah, it would be for sure. But I mean it's still good, but I just really hate Garganacl with the passion in draft. I think it sucks. Next up, we have the Grimes County Dimes, coached by Mr. Grimes himself. Finally on the main roster after God knows how long. I can't believe it. That's another. I'm removing A tier. That's the 3rd in a row. Goodbye. So this team: Magmortar, Melmetal, Zapdos, Zygarde, Tentacruel, Whimsicott, Indeedee, Regirock, Hitmontop, Excelgor, and Liepard. Oh god, I've clowned on half this team before. So Magmortar is a Terramon. Interesting. It does have a lot of coverage, so like you could Terra Electric T-Bolt, you could like Is it in Gen 9? I don't know if it's in Gen 9. If it does and has Terra Blast, then that's fine. If it has if it doesn't, it still has a lot of coverage. It has, flamethrower, I think it gets like energy ball, psychic, I think it gets sludge bomb. It's kind of wild actually. Melmetal's a good mon, right? Obviously a bit hard to use because you need to make sure it doesn't lose the helmet every week. Zapdos, really good mon. Like as always. Zygarde, I'm not a fan of, but I mean, it has potential, especially in Johto League. If it's gonna be good in anywhere, it's gonna be good in, Division 3 of PWC, alright? Whether it's Dragon Dance, Choice Band, Glare, Subtoxic, if it's gonna be good anywhere, it's gonna be good down here. Tentacle's a decent mon. Whimsicott, not the biggest fan of, but it's a decent mon. Indeedee, Indeedee with Zygarde when it runs likes to run E-Speed is a bit counterintuitive. And Prankster Indeedee turns off all of Whimsicott's prankster moves. What the fuck? Um Regirock's a decent mod. I like it as a lower tier mod. It's a flying resist, which is nice. I mean you already have Zapdos and Melmetal, but flying's a scary type. And Hitmontop, it's a decent low tier spinner. I like it, especially with triple axle that it got in Gen 8. Excelgor stacks spikes if it wants, can final gambit. Liepard also has Prankster, which makes the DD even worse. But like, Melmetal Zapdos is kind of nutty. And I feel like Zygarde, if it's gonna be good anywhere, it's Johto League. Um, Next up, we have the Gallant Gambits, coached by Chaos. Oh, Terra Ditto. That is the Terra captain of all time. Oh boy. All right. So, all right. Ditto, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Goldango, Urshifu Rapid, Regidrago, Regieleki, Grimmsnarl, Talonflame, Glimmet, Masquerain, and Phantom. So first of all, Masquerain's is terrible. I know it has webs, but like, ugh. Glimmet in national decks? Like, if this was Paldea decks, maybe. Because in Paldea decks, some are not gonna have hazard removal. Not in national decks. Like that's just it's national decks. I drafted Glimmet last season and like I'm pretty sure it didn't really contribute. I think I brought it maybe twice and it didn't really do much like in one of the game. I think it did. No, it's bad in national decks. Like people have hazard removal exists. Terraditto, I mean, it's just a noob trap, really. Like again, like I said like earlier with the other Ditto team, it's just a noob trap. Like if they just set up when you have a Ditto, then they deserve to lose. Ursaluna, Bloodmoon, Goldengo, or Shifu. I mean, that's pretty good, but the rest of the team falls apart pretty quickly. I mean, again, Regidrago's and Regieleki, a bit overpriced, both of them. I feel like those points could have been better spent. Grimmsnarl, web screens. Sorry, screens with the top three is good, but the rest of the team is just really bad. And like, I feel like if your opponent can run Rocky Helmet on her for Shifu, not fold to two not very fast special attackers. If they could keep webs off and like manage to like not not like set up with a Ditto right there, I think this team just falls apart, really. And it's not that hard to keep webs off, right? Because this is national decks after all. Next up, we have the Iowa City Night Ice, coached by Thunder Tinker. This is a day one fucking DLC OU team. Okay. It has an Ogre Pawn too. Heads. And okay. First double heads in a hot minute. Nancy. Nancy has been a Terra Captain everywhere, huh? I think. I don't remember about Wi-Fi diff. Excalibur. Rotom here. Ogre Pond, Wellspring. Oh, wait, is Ogre Pond Wellspring seriously less expensive than Rotom Heat? Nidoqueen. Loma Ninetales. Uh, Nianchao. Oh, Metagross. Xatu Spidops and Cacturn. So, you do have spikes with Cacturn and T-Spikes. Wait, it has T-Spikes? Is that like a Gen 9 thing? The Spidops and Cacturn have dual spikes, but they're both terrible mons. I mean, Spidops has webs, but like, again, who cares? Nidoqueen has T-Spikes, Dancey has rocks and spikes. Nidoqueen has rocks as well. Your hazards are really good. But again, you don't have a spinner on a team with one, two, three, four, five different hazard setters. That and like how about one, two, three, four of them can set up multiple hazards, including webs, and you don't even have a spinner. So you're just gonna remove your own hazards every fucking time. You also have Zatu to bounce them back. You just have insane hazard setting, but like the no spinner. You don't have a decent amount of momentum. Um, its speed tiers. This team is a bit slow. I get that you have webs, but I don't really like this clump right here. 110, 109, 105. Not the biggest fan of that. I would like a mon that outspeeds 110 outside of webs. Or like just mods that levitate above webs, or fast mods that can run boots, right? Um, Seems very physically oriented. Your special attackers are what? Rotom Heat and Nidoqueen? That's basically it. Yeah, I don't know. This team doesn't have a normal type, so ghost types just run it over because your dark type's a fucking Cacturn. The Diancie as a Terramon's good. Veil Backs is crazy. Ogre Pond's good. This is a fine team, but like I think you need another ghost resist or immunity. Um, that fire weakness is pretty bad. And you have a Diancie and a Rotom Heat, but Diancie's not staying a rock type most of the time. I mean, yeah, this could use a spitter. This could use like another special attacker. It's a B tier team. I want to put it C tier, but Bax is kind of nuts, especially with Veil support. And it also has an Ogre Pawn, which is also pretty nice. So, it's low end B tier, but it's B tier. And next up, we have the Manhattan Project, coached by Argyle Cat. Well, Galvanized Explosion. Yep, yep, that's how that works. Heads and tails. Okay. Another F tier. Alright, the wheel has spoken. So, about the Manhattan Project. So, obviously, the whole point was to build a nuke that can destroy a city. But, like, it's kind of lame. You just drop a big bomb. Like, where's the creativity? Where's the fucking laser to wipe out the entire city? Um, how am I putting an Ogrepon Team in F? Help. Alolan Golem, Weavile, Como, Ogrepon Heartflame, Glamora, Primarina, Espatra, Mousehole, Orbeetle, Appleton, and Impidimp. Impidimp. So Appleton, decent mon. Orbeetle, overpriced at 8 points. I mean, it has webs, but webs Ogerpon Heart Flame is kind of good. Mousehold's a terrible mon. Espatra without Terra is fine. Primarina's a Solomon, Glamour's a Solomon, Ogerpon's good. Como, not the biggest fan of. It's a fine mon, but eh. Weavel's good. Alolan Golem with Terra. I don't know. I don't feel like you I feel like you could have drafted a bond that's good with Terra. I mean, what does a Alolan Golem do? Are you gonna Terra Electric, Galvanize, Explosion, Double Edge? I don't fucking know. Um, yeah, I feel like this team just you have webs if you could get them up. You have Glamora, right? I really don't like how Glamora is your only spinner. I mean, you have a Mousehold, but Mousehold removes your own hazards. I think it's a board clear and a DD, right? Yeah, it is. So I don't like that on the webs team. Um, just it's just missing like just general like I don't know. The low tiers are really bad. I will say that, and I feel like the high end doesn't make up enough for the low end being bad. Return frustration because Snapdex moves. Oh yeah, those are back, huh? Right. It's just hidden power and pursuit. Yeah, I guess it can click return and or frustration. Mousehold sure can't. Not that it wants to, because pop bomb. Um, but eh, it's rough. Next up, we have the Vancouver Volcaronas, coached by Fox Hunter. Um, heads and tails. Okay, if I get F a third time in a row, I'm re-rolling it. Thank you. Okay, B tier. Vancouver Volcaronas. So this team, it's Magius, Ironmoth, DOD, Samira Hisui, Lycanroc Dusk, Tsarina, Klefki, Rotomo, Vikavolt, Ursaring, and Marowak. So, this Magius is a good Terramon, Ironmoth is a good Mon, DOD, I feel like when you have DOD and Hisuian Samurott, like, you have all the spike stacking ever. I feel like, because DOD's best, like, role is definitely a spike stacker. It can also click rocks, but you have Hisuian Samurott, DOD, and Klefki. So I'm assuming DOD is not clicking rocks. Spikes, sorry. It's obviously clicking rocks every week. Lycanroc Dusk's a solid mon. Tsarina, I really like. I don't like Tsarina and Rotomo on the same team. Vikavolt. Um, I mean, you have this Mage's Moth, Samurott, Lycanroc. I guess you can use webs somewhat effectively. Ursaring's a decent low tier mon. Marowak, I'm not a fan of. Um, I don't like the DOD on this team. I think DOD can work, not on this team. I think there's too many spike stackers other than DOD because that's its best role is stacking spikes in my opinion. And obviously, I mean it can click rocks, but yeah, it's a fine team, but nothing crazy. We have West Virginia Carcoals next, coached by Woba. Okay. Tails. Spin the wheel. Another B tier team. Okay. So this team, Sigilith. Again? Another one? Great Tusk, Blacephalon, Toxapex, Tapu Bulu, Porygon Z, Ribombi, Tyrantrum, Chinchino, Regice, and Flapple. So Flapple and Regice suck. Chinchino's sure. Tyrantrum, I feel like Tyrantrum and Chinchino. I mean, I think those balls are a lot better with Terra, but without Terra, they're just eh. And Bombi with webs on this team, fine. PZ can be a menace, especially in Johto League. Bulu, haven't seen Bulu in so long. Nobody drafts it ever since Rillaboom got fucking Grassy Surge. Pex is fine. Blacephalon's really scary. Tusk. I I feel like this team could use more utility, so Tusk could be more of the offensive threat. Cause I have serious doubts over Bulu and Tyrantrum. I feel like if it's like Tusk, Blast, and PZ like offense, and the rest of the team is more supportive, I could see that working. But I mean, Tusk is an amazing like utility mom, but I think it needs a bit more freedom to run offensive than it does here. And Sigilif, it has potential. We'll have to see if it's actually any good, but I think Terra Sigilif has potential. But it's a bit rough, but like I think this team has potential. It just needs to patch some shit up for sure. Next up, we're almost done. We're on the home stretch. We have the Dallas Omastars coached by Xander. Oh? Oh, no, it's F tier. Okay. That's really close, to be fair. Yeah, we have the. So we have Hisuian Decadui, Cinderace, Masculegion, Haxorus, Porygon 2, Kilowattrel, Gardevoir, Daxbun, Copperajah, Mr. Rhyme, and Dusknoir. So Basculegion without Rain, I understand it has agility and the thing. What's it called? Adaptability. I have used Basculegion without Rain, but it's not as good as you'd think it is. And for 15 points, that's kind of a waste to have Basculegion with no Rain for 15. Hisuian Decadui, I mean it's a neat mon, but it's nothing spectacular in terms of like Terra options. Cinderace I really like, but on this team, like you don't have any like crazy like offensive threats to go in. Your defensive core, you have P2, you have Dakshbun. I don't think the supporting cast for Cinderace to shine is really here. Haxorus is to Haxorus, right? It's gonna sweep someone because it's Johto League. P2's annoying. Kilowattrel's a decent mon. With Basculage and Kilowattrel, I feel like this team wanted to be Rain, but then, someone took the Pelipper and they couldn't be bothered getting Politoed. That's how it feels like. Have Gardevoir. Gardevoir's a decent mon. I really like it. It has Aura Sphere now, which is really neat. Um, Axpun's a decent low tier fairy. Comparaja, decent low tier steel. Um, Mr. Rhyme is the bad mon, and Dusk Noir is complete dog shit. Like, it's just so bad. Yeah, this team is rough. I feel like it's a rain team without a rain setter, and then when the rain setter got taken, they just kind of like gave up, didn't really bother swapping out the rain in the grace period. That's how it feels like, at least. Speaking of rain, the next team, Georgia Grookies. I guess this is where the Pelipper went, huh? Heads and is it double heads? Tails. Ooh, that's tough. Anyways, I think we've put I think A has spent enough time in the timeout corner. I'm gonna add it back in. So, this team: Hisuian Electro, Dragonite, Iron Treads, Pheasantipity, Pelipper, Iron Jugulus, uh, Poros Blaze, Glowbro, Floatzel, Corsola, and Hisuian Avalugg. Okay, you have a Galarian Corsola, Hisuian Avalugg, and you have a Rain team. Rain is very cringe, let's be real. Treads in a Rain team is really weird. But Fire Poros in the Rain is really weird. I The bottom two mods are terrible. A Floatzel's fine. I mean, if he could Terra, it would be really good. But Hisuian Electrode's already the Terramon. I guess Jugs has Hurricane to go about. It's Rain. Rain is so cringe. It has to be F tier out of sheer principle, because who the hell actually likes Rain? Let's be real. In game and in real life. I mean, I like Rain to when I'm gonna go to sleep, but you know. Right, next up, we have the Pikachu. Pikachu. We have the. Can I just fix this? Thank you. We have the Pikachu Buggy Choke, coached by the Prince Aldo. That's C tier. Okay. So this team: Jolteon, Garchomp, Iron Valiant, Ferrothorn, Keldeo, Moltres, Overcoat, Bramogast, Duraludon, Audino, and Crocalor. Alright, Bramogast is terrible, but so is Duraludon. Duraludon and Bramogast are really bad. But the rest of the team is actually good. Jolteon's a good mon, Garchomp, Valiant are good. Ferrothorn, it's an interesting proposition. Um, just don't be like Time Vault and let it die like into a fire move every week, probably. Keldeo, I'm not the biggest fan of Keldeo. It does have Flip Turn, but still doesn't really have coverage. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Doubling up on fighting with Valiant for a Keldeo. Moltres is a fine mon. Overcall's a decent mon. Aldino and Crocalor are not bad for low tiers, but I really don't like Bramblegast and Duraludon. I think those mons are so bad. Like, neither of them do anything. Can Duraludon hold Eviolite? Because I know Diplin can, even though its Evo is only in DLC 2. Duraludon has an Evo in DLC 2, but can it hold Eviolite? Well, it can, but does it do anything? Because if it does, maybe, but it's still a Duraludon at the end of the day. Next up, we have the Lucky Lucarios, the final team. Last but certainly not least, unless the wheel says F tier, which would be funny. It would be funny. Well, you could not script that better if you tried. All right, Lucky Lucarios in F tier. So based. Alright. Scrafty, Lando T, Hoopa Unbound, Rotowash, Nidoking, Hisuian Gudra, Tinkaton, Alamomola, Pyroar Slacking, and Ariados. So Scrafty has a Terramon. Wait, what the hell is happening with that logo? I just noticed. That there's a lot going on there. Okay. Um okay. Scrafty. Is it Terramon? It does remove the 4x fairy weakness. I could see it, but it's still Scrafty. Lando T. I mean, it's a Lando T. Hoopa U. I've made my case before. It sucks. Roto Wash. It's a fine mon, but it's not gonna make or break a team. Nidoking. Solid, right? But the Suya Gudra. It's a decent mon. It did not get the buffs that regular Gudra did. Um, Probably for the better. I don't think we want, mini Dialga with Scald. and knockoff. That would be pretty bad. Tinkaton. I would like another. I would like a second fairy to go with it, not a second steel to go with it. But to get decent, bit overpriced. But Almamolas, Zabon, Wish, Flip Turn, Regenerator. Pyroar's terrible, slacking. I mean, that takes a lot of balls and skill to use, and Ariados is not a Pokemon. This team's pretty rough, but we did it. We ranked every team. Well, most of them were, not kind of bullshit. I flipped the coin and I had to, talk myself out of, some of these rankings, but we did it. We ranked all, what, 64 teams? Um, yeah. All right. I'm gonna end this video here. I'll see you all next time.